Hello everyone, welcome to the world of biology. In the chapter number 6, today we will start the part number 4. In the previous classes, we have discussed about the DNA, RNA, DNA as a genetic material, structure of DNA. Today we will start the new topic, that is replication. Basically, what is the replication? Replication is the process of copying of DNA. In this process, a cell will undergo the copying of DNA, in which you can say formation of daughter DNA from parental DNA. You can see this is the structure of DNA, and it will unwind and it will form two copies of the DNA after the completion of this process. But as far as this procedure is concerned, it is carried out in S phase of cell cycle, in which DNA is doubled and two copies of DNA can be seen in the cell. So we will discuss further about the replication by using PPTs. So what is replication? Basically, DNA replication is an essential process by which a double stranded DNA molecule is copied to produce two identical DNA molecules. So the produced DNA molecules will be just identical to each other. When a cell divides, the two new daughter cells must contain the same genetic materials, or you can say DNA as the parent cell. Initially, it was proposed by Watson and Crick, and he completed it is completed in S phase of interphase. So which phase is responsible for the replication? This is the S phase of interphase, in which duplication of DNA can be seen. What was the original statement of the Crick? It has not escaped our notice that the specific pairing we postulated immediately suggests a possible copying mechanism for the genetic material. Watson and Crick proposed the DNA double helix model in 1953, and after the model, it was the new statement. The scheme suggested that two strands would separate and act as a template. In the DNA replication, you can see both the template will responsible for the copying. So act as a template for synthesis of new complementary strands. Now there are different types of replication methods proposed by various scientists. Out of that, semi-conservative method of DNA replication is most important. The new DNA molecule must have one parental strand and one new strand. You can see when the DNA is copied, then one strand will be from the parental strand and one will be newly formed. The scheme of replication is called semi-conservative type of replication. Experimentally, it is proven by Matthew Masselson and Franklin Stahl in 1958 in Escherichia coli. You can see experimental proof of semi-conservative method. Initially, prior to I explain this figure, let's start with its theory. Steps of semi-conservative experiments. In the very first step, Masselson and Stahl grew the E. coli in the medium containing ammonium chloride, where nitrogen is heavy isotope nitrogen. It is not a radioactive element. N15 was used. While you know about the nitrogen, its atomic weight is 14 in general, but this is N15, which is heavier isotope of the nitrogen for many generations. So what will you see? As we will grow the E. coli in the N15 heavy isotope, then nitrogen 15 will become the integral part of the E. coli. The result was that N15 was incorporated into newly synthesized DNA and other nitrogen containing compound as well. This heavy DNA molecule could be distinguished from normal DNA by centrifugation in cesium chloride density gradient. So what will you see if you want to distinguish the normal DNA and the DNA with heavy nitrogen by centrifugation method? N15 can be separated from N14 only based on densities because it shows the difference in density. In the second part, then they transferred the E. coli into the medium with normal ammonium chloride and let them grow. E. coli divides in 20 minutes. They took samples at definite time intervals as the cells multiplied and extracted the DNA that remained as double-stranded helices. Various samples were separated independently on cesium chloride gradients to measure the densities of DNA. The DNA that was extracted from the culture one generation after the transfer from N15 to N14 medium, that is after 20 minutes, E. coli divides in 20 minutes, had a hybrid or intermediate density. So let's look at the figure now. You can see this is the red colored DNA, and what will you see? It contains two strands with red color, and both these strands are made of N15 heavy nitrogen bases. After 20 minutes, these two strands, red colored strands, are separated out. Out of that, the green one is the newly synthesized DNA, the red is N15 DNA, and the N14 is green colored DNA. So this is known as hybrid DNA. So what will you see? In the first generation, both the copies of DNA will be hybrid in nature. But in the next nature, when these two molecules of DNA will form the four copies of DNA, then the number of hybrid molecules will be still 2, and the newly formed DNA, or you can say without hybrid, will be 2. In the next generation, you can see the changes here. So always there will be 2 copies of hybrid DNA, and rest of the others will be always normal DNA. So you can see this is the heavier nitrogen. So after the centrifugation, it forms a band in the bottom of the tube, while in the hybrid one you can see the band in the middle of the tube, while after second generation you can see there will be 2 bands, one with light DNA and another with hybrid DNA. So separation of DNA by centrifugation method, it was proposed by Masselson and Stahl. DNA extracted from the culture after another generation, after 40 minutes, second generation, was composed of equal amounts of this hybrid DNA and of light DNA. So second generation will contain hybrid generations. Now there is a question for you. Can you recall what centrifugal force is? And think why a molecule will with higher mass or density would sediment faster. So centrifugal force acts in case of circular motion only. It is the type of force that directs molecules away from the center. Similarly, the same concept is applicable in case of molecules comprising high mass or density. It is the centrifugal force that helps in the faster sedimentation of higher mass molecules. And in the physics, formula of the centrifugal force, capital F equals to m omega square upon r. Now there is one more question to you. If E. coli was allowed to grow for 80 minutes, then what would be the proportions of light and hybrid densities DNA molecules? So what will you see? After 80 minutes there will be 4 generations, and in the first generation all the strands will be hybrid as the heavy isotope will be incorporated in newly synthesized strand DNA. The two DNA will be of intermediate nature, and in the second generation 50% of the DNA will be light and 50% will be hybrid. And there is one more scientist, Taylor and his colleagues. Similar experiments were performed by Taylor and colleagues. They used radioactive thymidine to detect distribution of newly synthesized DNA in the chromosomes. They performed this experiment on Vicia faba beans in 1958. This is the figure of the faba bean plant, and they proved the semi-conservative nature of DNA replication in chromosomes in eukaryotes. So, in the prokaryotes, it was proven by Marcelson and Stoll, while in eukaryotes, it is proposed by Taylor by using the Vicia faba. So, this is the semi-conservative method of replication. Now, have a look on the replication machinery and enzymes. What type of enzymes are useful in replication? What type of enzymes will be helpful in this process? So have a look here. Prokaryotic DNA replication we will discuss here. Here is the list of enzyme and proteins, and this list shows the respective functions. There are three type of polymerase enzymes are used in the DNA replication in prokaryotes: DNA pol first, DNA pol second, DNA pol third. So what is the role of pol first? It is exonuclease activity, removes RNA primer and replaces with newly synthesized DNA. What is the role of DNA polymerase second? It has the repair function. So if the DNA is damaged, then DNA pol second will help. And DNA pol third is the main enzyme that adds nucleotides in 5' to 3' direction. So what will you see? DNA polymerase third, this is the main hero of the replication that adds the nucleotides, or you can say it helps in the polymerization of nucleotides. While DNA pol first will remove the RNA prime from the DNA which was added in the very first step. Helicase enzyme, what is the role of helicase? It opens the DNA helix by breaking hydrogen bonds between nitrogenous bases. So helicase will break the hydrogen bonds found between the nitrogen bases. What about the ligase? It seals the gap between Okazaki fragments to create one continuous DNA strand. What is the primase? Synthesize RNA primers needed to start replication. Sliding clamp helps to hold the DNA polymerase in place when nucleotides are being added. What is topoisomerase? It helps relieve the stress of DNA when unwinding by causing breaks and then resealing the DNA. So it will play the important role when the DNA is unwound, then there will be a stress. To remove the stress, it will cut the thread and again it will seal the DNA. And SSB, single strand binding proteins. It binds to single stranded DNA to avoid DNA rewinding back. So have a look here. The main enzyme is DNA dependent DNA polymerase. It catalyzes the polymerization of deoxynucleotides. The average rate of polymerization is 2000 base pair per second. So what will you see? The rate of polymerization in the prokaryotic cells is 2000 base pair per second. In prokaryotes, there are three types of DNA polymerase used: DNA pol first, DNA pol second, DNA pol third. Out of that, DNA polymerase third is the main enzyme of the replication. Whereas in eukaryotes, there are 5 different types of DNA polymerase have been identified, and the name was given as follows. Not the first, second, third. In the eukaryotes, DNA polymerase alpha, beta, gamma, delta, and epsilon. Now you can see E. coli has only 4.6 into 10 to the power 6 base pair, while human has 6.6 into 10 to the power 9 base pairs in diploid content. This is the data that you need to remember or memorize. It completes replication in 38 minutes. It means it shows rate of polymerization approx 2000 base pair per second. It also shows high level of accuracy. Any mistake during replication would result into the mutation. Now we will discuss about the process of replication in prokaryotes. Especially prokaryote shows the simple type of replication, and it is studied in E. coli bacteria. So it is an energy expensive process in which DNTPs serve the dual purpose. Actually, the raw material is deoxynucleotide triphosphate, and they will serve the double purpose or dual purpose here. First, acting as a substrate, it will behave like the substrate, and it will provide the energy for two terminal phosphorus, because it is very energy expensive process and mitochondria is unable to provide proper amount of energy. So in the long DNA molecule, replication takes place within a small opening of the DNA helix. It is called replication fork. The region where replication fork is formed is called origin of replication. It is shown by ORI. So what will you see? The place of the DNA where replication begins is called replication ori. The replication fork is formed by an enzyme called helicase. So, which enzyme helps in the formation of replication fork? The helicase enzyme. And the process of replication is completed in three steps: initiation, elongation, and termination. So, have a look. Some important features of the DNA replication. The DNA replication is an all or none process. If once the DNA begins, then it will be completed, or there is will be the absence of replication. This is all and none process. Once replication begins, it proceeds to completion. It requires the DNA dependent DNA polymerase, and it catalyzes polymerization only in one direction, that is 3' to 5'. So what is the direction of DNA polymerization? 3' to 5'. You can see the figure of the replication fork or replicating fork here. This is 5' to 3' end, and this is 3' to 5' end. You can see newly synthesized DNA always formed from 5 to 3' direction. It means DNA polymerase work on 3 to 5' of template DNA. This blue color is the template DNA. Again, one strand is continuous and another strand is discontinuous. So replication fork, where the DNA strand splits off, moves with the path of the replication bubble. Primer, short sequence of RNA that binds to lagging parental strand in order to DNA polymerase to copy the lagging strand. Primase, a protein that binds to parental lagging strand to make a primer, and helicase, a protein that unwinds the DNA. Now some important facts. On one strand template with 3' to 5' polarity, the replication is continuous, hence called leading strand. So at the template strand with 3' to 5' polarity, the replication will be continuous, hence it is called leading strand. In another strand template with 5' to 3' polarity, the polymerization takes place in the form of short fragments called Okazaki fragments. Basically, Okazaki was a scientist from Japan. These short fragments are joined by DNA ligase, hence called lagging strand. The DNA polymerase on their own cannot initiate the process of replication. And it also cannot initiate randomly at any place in the DNA. It has a definite regions called ORI, origin of replication, where it will begin the replication. ORI has the recognition site for DNA polymerase and also provide the site for RNA primer attachment. In the absence of RNA primer, DNA polymerase cannot add the nucleotides. So, due to requirement of origin of replication, that a piece of DNA, if needed to be propagated during recombinant DNA procedures, it requires a vector, and the vector will provide the origin of replication. So, if Any DNA molecule that do not have the ori, then vector can be helpful. You can see the replication in prokaryotes. You can see this is the original DNA. It is unwinded by helicase. You can see this blue colored, purple colored triangle that is breaking the hydrogen bonds, and topoisomerase, it's stopping the DNA to wind again. This is DNA primase, and this is the small fragment you can see here. It is completely separated, that is RNA primer. DNA ligase, it will help in the addition of the Okazaki fragments. So you can see in the leading strand a continuous DNA is made, and on the other hand small fragments will be made and attached by DNA ligase enzyme, and this is DNA polymerase. Now have a look in the eukaryotic DNA replication. In eukaryotes, replication takes place in S phase of cell cycle. A failure of cytokinesis after replication results into polyploidy. You can see in the prokaryotic DNA there is the single replication bubble or single place. There will be replication fork is made, in while in the eukaryotes there are many replication forks or bubbles are made, and rest of the procedure is similar to the prokaryotic ones. In the leading strand a continuous fragments are made. Now come to the next point. After replication, the transcription. What is transcription? The process of copying genetic information from one strand of the DNA into a new molecule of mRNA is termed as transcription. So what is the transcription? Formation of mRNA from DNA. It is studied by Roger D. Korenberg. You can see this is DNA molecule. Copying of DNA to DNA is known as replication. Copying of DNA to mRNA is known as transcription, and formation of protein according to the information given by RNA is known as translation. So DNA to DNA replication, DNA to RNA transcription, and RNA to protein, this is known as translation. So all these three important steps already we have discussed in central dogma. Now our aim will be to explain the transcription here. Transcription versus replication. What are the basic differences in transcription and replication? Principle of complementarity governs the process of transcription, except adenosine of DNA forms base pair with the uracil. So basically it follows the complementarity rule, but in RNA uracil is present in place of thymine. During replication, once started, the whole DNA is duplicated. So in the replication process, it follows the all and none rule, where once the replication started, DNA is duplicated completely, while in the transcription takes place, only a segment of DNA will transcribe into the mRNA. In replication, both strands act as template, whereas in the transcription, only one strand is act as a template to synthesize RNA. And in replication, DNA copied from DNA, whereas in transcription, RNA is copied from the DNA. So you can see some differences in transcription and replication. Now next question is, why both strands of DNA not copied during transcription? What are the important reasons that will explain this fact? If both the strands of DNA act as template, they would translate it into two RNA of different sequences. And in turn, if they code for proteins, the sequence of amino acids in the protein would be different. Hence, one segment of DNA would be coding for two different proteins. So, sorry, there will be the chance of formation of unnecessary proteins. the genetic information transfer machinery would become much more complicated because there will be two type of enzymes and two type of RNA that may bind to each other and genetic information is blocked. It is given in the third point. The two RNA molecules if produced simultaneously would be complementary to each other. Hence, will form double-stranded RNA and this would prevent RNA from being translated into the protein. It will block the formation of protein because genetic information is blocked. Now, there is one more important point, that is transcription unit. What is transcription unit? Basically, sequence of nucleotides in DNA that codes for a single RNA molecule. Along with the sequence necessary for the transcription normally contains a promoter gene and RNA coding sequence, that is structural gene, and a terminator gene. So it is called transcription unit. So you can say transcription unit is in DNA is made of three regions of DNA. There will be the three important part of the transcription unit. First is promoter gene, where RNA polymerase will attach. The structural gene, basically it contains the information of protein and enzyme. And terminator gene, the gene where transcription is stopped. So there is a convention to defining the two strands of DNA in the structural gene of a transcription unit. The two strands have opposite polarity and DNA dependent RNA polymerase. RNA pol also catalyze the polymerization in only one direction and the polymerization direction is 5' to 3'. This one RNA polymerase synthesizes all classes of RNA. So what will you see? RNA polymerase can synthesize all types of RNAs. The strand that has the polarity 3' to 5' acts as a template and referred as template strand. The other strand which has the polarity 5' to 3' and same sequence as RNA is displaced during transcription. So you can see one strand is template, another strand is coding strand. The strand which does not code for anything is called coding strand. All the reference points while defining a transcription unit is made with coding strand. Sorry. To explain the transcription unit, a hypothetical sequence is represented below. So you can see this is the DNA. Have a look here. A T G C A T G C A T G C A T G C A T G C A T G C. So this is 3' to 5' direction. You can see here. This is the 3' to 5' direction. It is template strand and it will be responsible for the coding of the DNA, while the opposite direction 5' to 3' is coding strand. So can you now write the sequence of RNA transcribed from the above DNA? Yes. When you are going to form the sequence of RNA, then you will have to use template strand, or you can say 3' to 5' direction. So the direction will be opposite to this ATGC, 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 ATGC. So USCG, 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 and so on. A transcription unit in DNA consists of three regions in DNA. So we are explaining the regions of transcription unit here. First is promoter gene. What is promoter gene? It is a DNA sequence that provides binding site for RNA polymerase. So promoter gene is the place where RNA polymerase will bind. It is located at 5' and it is also known as upstream of the structural gene. Its presence also defines the template and coding strand, mostly TATA. Commonly, it is known as TATA boxes. It initiates transcription of single RNA from the DNA. What are the structural genes? A structural gene is a gene that codes for any RNA or protein. So, structural gene contains the information about the protein or enzymes. So, you can see codes for any RNA or protein product other than a regulatory factor. It is flanked by promoter and terminator. What will you see? Structural gene is located in between the promoter and terminator gene. Initially, promoter gene is present, and at the end, terminator is gene present. A terminator is a sequence of DNA that causes RNA polymerase to terminate transcription. So this will be the place where termination of transcription can be seen. It is also short segment of DNA which recognizes the termination factor. Here you can see there are two type of factors will be responsible here. One is sigma factor that will initiate the transcription, and there will be the termination factor, rho factor, which will stop the transcription. It is located towards the 3' and downstream of the coding strand. It is usually defines the end of transcription process. Figure 6.9 that is given in your book, you can see the blue and green lines. It is showing the DNA. Out of that, in the left hand side, you can see this is promoter gene, and in the right hand side, this is the terminator gene. The sequence is 5' to 3'. In the upper direction, it is the template strand, and the opposite will behave like the coding strand. Transcription unit, again there is one more figure. You can see this is the DNA here. So yellow colored structure is promoter, the light purple color is structural gene, and this is the termination site. Transcription unit and the gene. What is the difference between transcription unit and the gene? A gene is the basic physical and functional unit of heredity. So you can see the definition of gene. So a gene is the basic physical and functional unit of the heredity. It is a sequence of nucleotides in DNA or RNA that encodes the synthesis of gene product. Either it will form tRNA or RNA or the protein. You can see the gene. It is the part of DNA. So it is literally difficult to locate and define the gene. In a transcription unit, the structural gene could be monocystonic and polycystonic. Monocystonic gene is found in mostly eukaryotes, which makes a single protein or enzyme at a time. While in the polycystonic gene, mostly it is found in bacteria or prokaryotes. Monocystonic structural gene in eukaryotes have interrupted coding sequence. They are of two types, exons and introns. In the monocystonic structural gene, it is made of two type of sequences, exons, coding sequence or express sequence that appear in the mature or processed RNA. And introns, these are the intervening sequences which do not appear in the mature or processed RNA. They only interrupted exons. The split gene with both exons and introns is a characteristic of eukaryotic DNA. So you can see exons are found only in the prokaryotes, while exon and introns are found in the eukaryotic DNA. The promoter and the regulatory sequence of structural gene also affect the inheritance of a character. That's why sometimes the regulatory sequences are loosely defined as regulatory genes, even though these sequences do not code for any RNA protein.